Doop, doop, doopity doop, 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 doopity doo. Ha ha ha. Doo unna doo 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 doo. For the doo 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 doo. Dooby doo. Dooby doo. Mic check 1 2. Ew. Ew, gross. What the hell? You think you know me? You don't. Checking sound, hello. Hello. Wicked. And I gotta say, alley poop. Oh! What's up, everybody? My lovely partner, Stephanie T. Allison says it sounds good. Y'all like the backdrop? Y'all like the backdrop? In preparation for our lovely discussion today, a lovely review of a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. Oh my God. I'm just waiting for those chatters to pop in. All those chatters. Chatters. I am just waiting for chatters. Everybody likes some chatters. Let's just say we like to chat. Oh my God, friends! I had too much pasta and protein. Now I'm bloated. Oh my God, I think I'm bloated. Why the hell am I so bloated? Let's just say I can't eat cheese. Fart. Welcome everybody to the Wild Wild here. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Welcome. Welcome. Just giving it a few for let people trail in a little bit. Go, 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 go. Shall I do my bloated version again, friends? Bloated. Oh my God, I am so bloated. Why the hell am I so bloated? Let's just say I need to poop. That's normally the reason. You know, you got bloat, friends. You know, you just got to eat some good greens. Get it? You crazy sons of bitches. That pasta did not hit the spot. Oh, that's not good. Pasta should always hit the spot. Pasta's a beautiful thing. Love some pasta. I wish the beautiful creator would have made pasta as nutrient dense and calorie less as broccoli or spinach. That would be great. That would have been awesome. Floating. Oh my God, I think I'm floating. Let's just say I smoked a joint. I didn't smoke a joint, friends. I don't even know what that means to smoke a joint. I do. I have a little bit of knowledge in that sense. Oh yeah. Ooh. I used to spend my nights drinking out of a bottle. Ovaltine was my only friend. You know, here I got my favorites. I got my famous Nevada whiskey friends. Nevada whiskey. Nevada? Nevada. Nevada whiskey. My famous Nevada whiskey. We did live there for, so maybe I got my Washington whiskey. Ooh, sounds like a potion, doesn't it? Ah, a potion. Which again aligns with the theme. With the theme. The theme? Do 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 do. Just waiting for those peeps, friends. Just waiting for those peeps. Anybody here like peeps? Anybody out in the chatting in the chickadee chitty chat world like peeps? They're just funny little marshmallows, right? Dyed yellow to look like little chicks, little chickadees. Doesn't happen all that often for the little chicks, for the yeah, little chickadees. Dang, Miss T straight up T says, "Oh God, no, gross." They are a little weird, aren't they? They are just a strange taste. The marshmallow doesn't go quite as hard as, say, like ones you would get from even just making marshmallows for a s'more or something. The texture's weird. Texture's different. And hey, don't sue me, Peep Company, okay? I am not your enemy. I am not your enemy, nor am I the one to fear. I'm just being honest with what it means to eat a peep. So don't make a peep, peeps. Understand. No peeps from peeps. Because I'm sure your fans are loyal as a peep can get. And nothing I say will deter them from trying to taste your squishy, marshmallowy gooiness. That sounds ridiculously sexual. Oh my God. Gloating. Gosh dang right, I am gloating. Let's just say I'm the best. No one does it as good as me. Yeah, gloating. Gloating. Screw everybody, I'm gloating. That's what Glinda's name should have been. Glinda the Gloater, not Glinda, Witch of the North. I'm Glinda, the Witch of the North. I mean, I guess could you say Melisandre was the Witch of the North? Oh my God, my friends, I have to keep up on my Game of Thrones lore best I can. Also, I guess I am part of that. I'm part of those people who are like, "Hey, George R. R. Martin, I know. I get it, my man. I completely understand. It was a wild ride doing everything that went with the show, getting those books and the fandom as much as people love them, and then you're writing other things, you're expanding on the lore of the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. But I'm with the fans, of course. Why wouldn't I want you to finish them, you know? Of course I want you to finish them, George. Mr. R.R. Martin. Mr. George R. Martin. Of course, man. Of course we want you to finish those bad boys. You know? Just saying. So, take your time. Do it well. I would say don't worry about subversions and all that other stuff like anything else, because, you know, I think at this point fans just want them. Anything that happens with them, I don't think it's gonna be too big of a problem, George. George is gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right, George. It's gonna be all right, George. So what I mean is, would Melisandre technically be considered the would Melisandre technically be the Witch of the North in the realm of Game of Thrones? Would she be the Glinda of of Westeros? That's a sad Glinda. No, if Glinda was evil, I haven't read the books, but yeah, Melisandre was doing the Witch of the North. And when she saw Jon Snow, she knew he was special, but not that special. Hey, Jerry Stephen Camacho is in. Did y'all see the movie already? I did. That's why I'm talking about it today. And don't worry, if anybody out there who comes in, I will say this review is a spoiler-free review. It is spoiler-free. I repeat myself. This is a spoiler-free review of the movie. No spoilers had for this movie. Just a good, fun first impression and recommendation, non-recommendation. You gotta watch the review to find out. What do you say, friends? What do you say we get into it, huh? Anybody coming in through it, we can always add them in. It's okay. They got it. They got it. They got it. We can do it. We can do this together. Together. Together forever. Together. Together forever. But Bug is doing just fine. My little our little guy, our little Labrador. Anybody out there in Spaceland, our little Labrador, he's got a bit of the kennel cough. He's doing much better though. It's just a cough. But his energy is still up there. He's definitely a lab. Anytime he sees anybody or anything, he gets excited. He wants to go out and play, and he wants to do it. It's just that cough. The cough sounds real like just worse than it actually is. But no, he's doing good. My little peppy dog. He's doing good. He's doing real good. Oh my god, it's cool in here, but you know, my costume is a little toasty. Give me a second. Body shop. Shop, body shop. Just taking away some of this funny glare. Dab. Boop. All right. Well, my friends, let's get to it. Now, here we go. Yoink. Back in my day, this is how we started all reviews. Today, my friends, and everybody out there in streaming land, aside from all the bloating, unadulterated bloating, because I need to poop, we are covering a famous, legendary story, beloved by all and cherished in the annals of time, and that is the story, the historical legend of Wicked. This movie is called Wicked. All right? And for those of you who don't know, this follows the story. It's sort of a prequel / sequel of the movie John Wick. Okay? And in this story, he found out that Ms. Gulch, the woman who plays the Wicked Witch, the thing, was going to murder Toto, Dorothy's dog. And he was like, hell no, I ain't having that. So he sets out on a vengeful quest over to Oz to kick the Wicked Witch's ass, and he almost does, but then it turns out that he finds out it was the wizard who gave the order to kill Toto. So John Wick beats the shit out of everybody in Emerald City and takes no prisoners. There's a lot of murder in the movie, and he shoots the wizard in his fraudulent fucking face. And that's the end of the story. Toto lives, the band and the dog. Thank you so much for checking out my review, friends. This is a surprise. This movie was definitely surprise. I did not expect it to go where it went, but I was happy to see Keanu share the big screen with Ariana Grande and everybody in the movie. So yeah, that was Wicked. Nah, I was playing. Okay. Everybody calm down. I'm just kidding. Nope. This is the story of Wicked. Hey, play. Play, you son of a bitch. Play. Original world of the Wizard of Oz. And from what I hear tell, that is a hefty mythos, friends. There are, at least from what I understand, 5 books in the original stories of just tracking everything going on with the wizard and Dorothy and the goings-ons about Oz. But this movie is based off of a sort of dissection and real kind of hardcore examination about what could potentially be a kind of a revisionist telling of the goings-ons of Oz, and giving you a bit of a backstory about the infamous Wicked Witch of the West. And it tends to, and from what I hear tell from people who are more in the know, because full confession, I have not read the book. I have not read the book. I just know the musical and I know this movie. And what I hear from friends who are definitely fans of both books and everything in the thing. But this story puts Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, in the forefront. She is your main protagonist, and you're following on her journey and basically her backstory of everything going on. Hey, come back. You must play on repeat all the time because you're doing a thing and you have action. You make action happen. Come back, you trailer. You big old floofy trailer. So, it follows the story of the Wicked Witch of the West in the forefront, following her journey. You kind of see a little bit as she is a kid, her acceptance into this magical school slash scientific college called Shiz. And this magical school was pre-Hogwarts, and since it is a school of advanced magic and sciences, it means they know how to use wands and a gold-plated high-caliber Desert Eagle handgun. So basically what I'm saying is Hogwarts ain't got shit on Shiz, because they study it all, my friends. They study it all. But there you see everything kind of transpiring with Elphaba since she was born with green skin. She's always been an outcast. You see all of her turmoil, her strife, what happens between her and Glinda, and you'll see why it changes. It's full of fun, happy musicals. It's full of crazy, weird, dark things going on in the land of Oz. And man, it is just... You realize that Elphaba unlocked almost weird conspiracies filled. You realize that Oz is filled with a lot of turmoil and strife and a buttload of bullcrap. So it's kind of nuts. Initial thoughts for Wicked. Gotta say, my friends, your friendly neighborhood Heyoka was simply this. It was a very welcome and enthusiastic surprise to me. Because I had initially thought that, like, if it flopped, or if it was something that wasn't terribly different from the musical, I would have just kind of like, oh, I'll put it off and I'll watch it to, like, you know, I'll save it for another date or something like that. But honestly, having had the chance to watch it relatively early, I was very pleasantly surprised. Very much open to the fact that it delivered on so many levels. Now, you're probably asking, hey, Dimitri, my friendly neighborhood Heyoka, why? What made it so thing? Well, I'm super happy and glad and just oh so elongated that you asked. So, the movie was directed by one John M. Chu. If anybody doesn't know, my man, he's most notable works that you might be familiar with. He's the director of Crazy Rich Asians, and he did the film adaptation of Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical in the Heights. Um, vision extremely solid, and him and his entire team really did a pretty fantastic job at capturing the grand imaginary world of Oz. It's sort of like it's very very beautiful and like kind of crazy, spectacular and everything like that. But like also it really captures the turmoil of everything going on in the realm of Oz. So you have, see, as you can kind of see here, like you have really kind of fantastical elements going into the way of like the set designs and the pieces over and everything. So it does really really punctuate the fantastical element that is Oz. And there's a lot of like, because the colors are a little bit more saturated, and you have, you know, like check out Mama here, her green against Glinda's, you know, heavy backdrop of pink. It definitely lends itself, that beautiful color palette, to the fantastical element of Oz. But I will say there's also like a real sense of foreboding and a sense of dread in the land of Oz. Like it has like a fog over it, and you really learn why as far as for when the story progresses, because you know you really do find out that Oz is sucking a bit of butt lately. So it's really cool. And the movie has a lovely hybrid of practical sets and effects that just, man, whenever you have that kind of hybridization of the perfect means of using practical effects and computer generated effects, it's the best. It's Titanic, it's Jurassic Park, and everything flowed pretty seamlessly, I would say, in this movie. I did hear a little thing that the director said he was very much inspired by the old illustrations from the original novelizations, or the, you know, the original kind of children's books and everything like that. I can even show you. It's very you can see doodle-doo. Wizard of Oz. No. Wizard of Oz illustrations. You definitely kind of, if you see kind of these types of illustrations, you get a little bit of that sense when you have, especially working in like with the costumes and some of the colors going in with Wicked. You get a little bit of that, see, kind of a hyper exaggeration going. And he was also apparently very much inspired by the Chicago World's Fair. And that is crazy evident when you watch the movie, especially when you get to the design of Emerald City. It's very very just, oh my god, it's overwhelming. And it's obviously supposed to be, because Emerald City is supposed to be, you know, the beacon of society and the place that everybody wants to go, because you got to meet the famed, very very you got to meet the famed and ever so powerful, ever so special Wizard of Oz. And just like the World's Fair in Emerald City, you have H.H. Holmes murdering people. I'm just kidding. But like that sort of like towering and sort of grandiose classism decor really does, it makes the city feel magical, but there is an uneasy nature to it, because things are so like, it's bombastic, and you know it's it's unsettling because of just like the nature of these idols coming into you thing. And it's you know, there's something obviously a little fabricated about it. But the production design and the world building are overall caught in such a lovely mix of a fantastical realm, but keeping to a very real situation. And some of the notable set pieces in the movie are definitely the Emerald City and that whole transition going into there, and the Let me double check here. Set pieces for the Emerald City, and boop. Set pieces for the Emerald City, and there is a musical number that happens in this sort of really cool turnstile watch like circular library that they have inside Shiz for a musical number called Dancing Through Life. Absolutely fantastic, and you know, again, you can never go wrong with really, really well engineered practical sets, and it just adds to the beauty of the world. The sneeze is coming. The Shiz sneeze. Thank you. Now we move on to musicals. The music aspect of this, I mean, top notch. Top notch. No real complaints from me. And I'll be honest, as far as for, I'm pretty familiar with movie musicals. And being a kid of theater, I'm pretty okay with stage musicals. It's not my strongest, it's obviously not my strongest point of topic, honestly. I know enough to keep up with the conversation, but you know, some people who are like real scholars when it comes to musicals and time periods and the performers that originated certain musicals and carried them on through a legacy and stuff like that. Not my strongest, not my strongest talking point. I need some more of my Wyoming whiskey, which apparently Wyoming doesn't exist. But no. In the movie, I believe they added one song, like an original song that they did specifically for the movie. And they had to maybe trim and combine a few songs from the musical to just kind of save time and everything like that. But honestly, it doesn't take away from the flow of the movie really all that much. And unless you are really a fan of the musical and you kind of know where songs go and at any given point in the story, it's not going to take you out. If you're unfamiliar or uninitiated with that, it's not a problem whatsoever. Choreography works great. You got everybody really tapping in. You got anybody really tapping into everything going on with the dancing and playing with the situations and everything like that. It's just great. It's all done exceptionally well. The Wicked team really took the musical part very well. And I gotta say, it handled the music stuff very well, because translating musicals to cinema is quite difficult. If you did like a one for one, it sometimes it wouldn't work because you're dealing with a completely different medium. You know, sitting back in a grand spectacle in a theater like that is so different than watching it and you're able to capture everything from the camera. It's very, very different. And they did. They actually took the musical aspect and dialed it down a little bit. I would say the movie actually went a little like 60-40, I would say, where 60% was movie and a particular type of like cinema, getting close to the characters, really really getting personal with the characters and the situations going on. And the music was actually the spice and the toppings or the frosting, as you can say, which is great. Like I said, they really kind of understood the assignment when it comes to translating the actual movie to the musical to a cinematic sense. And it was good seeing that type of balance achieved for the big screen versus seeing it in the live theater version. So yeah, we had some things just coming into zoo. If they follow the play, I hate what they are doing to the animals. Yes, they are following that story aspect in the play. There's no spoilers there if you know how it goes. Love Cra, CRA. Raw. Craw. Jerry Stephanie Camacho, who's Craw? I could be lost. It's like, she says it doesn't exist. Anna Gonzalez says, I didn't see the movie. I enjoyed listening. Don't worry, Mama Anna. This is a spoiler-free review of the movie. Don't worry about it. I got you. This is actually just explaining the goings-ons of the film, the aspects of the film that could possibly intrigue people to see or not to see. That is the question. Whether it is nobler to wear underwear to the theater or not, and put popcorn over the crotch so you can enjoy the crotch. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about something, even crazy. Let's talk about the performances. Why does anybody go see anything? All right. Oh, Jerry Stephanie Camacho was doing a little bit of abbreviation, a little bit of I think CRA, Crazy Rich Asians. I saw the movie a long time ago. Wow, I don't think I remember it too well. I have to rewatch it. Saw it a long time ago. I don't remember what happened. Yeah, probably watch it again. So let's move on to performances in the beautiful movie. And I will say, my friends, this is a solid, concrete, diamond-crusted cast, all right? Everybody, from the background dancers to the singers to the supporting cast, everybody was working quite well. And I definitely felt everybody was bringing their ruby-slippered A-games to the screen, and I really, really appreciated that. Michelle Yeoh and Jeff Goldblum, legends of the screen, I gotta say, it works very well because they both have like an intimidating sense of authority, and they bring about a darkness to their roles that are pretty well, established and very well explored in the third act of the first act, because there's a two-parter, and it's part one, but it's the third act of the first, because God damn it. But yes, fantastic. They just it's a very Michelle Yeoh can definitely bring that type of intimidating, just a scandalous power, and you don't see it too often from Jeff Goldblum because he's usually kind of the eccentric nice guy, but he can play sort of scandalous and dirty and evil very well. If you've never seen The Fly, he can get pretty intimidating in one way, shape, or form. But all the supporters, especially like the friends, like Bowen Yang, and I think the other woman's name is Bronwyn James. Yeah, it's like Galinda's little snooty-esque friends who give like those mean girl, snooty hierarchy things in college, like they're kind of like the part of the antagonization of Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West. They're pretty good, and they're really good at building that sort of life around how everybody's just has a problem with Elphaba because she's green and has magical abilities that they don't. They did say that Shiz University is a university, but I will say I did get more high school vibes of the things going on, again, especially with what was going on with poor Madame Elphaba. It wasn't a problem, honestly. It wasn't really a thing. I was like, oh, but this is a college. How are they having like these types of cliques and these types of things going on with the in the nature of a university? It's like, at least in America, going to colleges are so big, and I don't know if you have that type of things, but it's so big and you're always usually so busy. So who knows? If anything, that type of atmosphere, that high school-esque thing happening at a university, actually kind of punctuates and really makes you root more for Elphaba, because it really cements the fact that, she's the underdog and she wants to do, you're really kind of trying to be on her side. My man Jonathan Bailey plays Fiyero, does a good job as Fiyero, that pompous prince-ass kind of person. He gave me real sort of Prince Charming from Into the Woods vibes. Nice little arc and a little bit of dimensionality coming in with, him trying to a little bit of things going on with his actions and stuff, but everybody does well. It's lovely to watch. Everybody's bringing, like I said, everybody brings a solid thing to their characters and the role and the story. Now we move on to our main folk, lovely Miss Cynthia Erivo and lovely Miss Ariana. Is it Grande, or when I see her name, I think it's Grande, like Ariana Grande. I'm just gonna call her Ariana Grande, which is funny because I heard tell she's not very big. She's average person, but yeah, Miss Aviro, Miss Cynthia Erivo, yeah, and Miss Grande. Powerhouses. I legit have to say, solid work from Miss Elphaba and Miss Glinda. Like, they are a pair of powerhouses that fall on you and jack your shoes once you're dead. But yes, Miss Grande, who is known for more of her pop stylings, obviously, and her popular music and stuff like that. But I think people forgot that she was a performer way back when I was younger. I'm not sure if she was going into, like, if she was she a Disney person? Let me know in the things, friends. Was she Disney? Was she some kind of thing, but like performing, not just popular music, but just performing in general, and a lot of musical inclined things. You forget that Mama's got some talent, and she really digs deep into her thing. So if she said Nickelodeon, oh yeah, and if she had any musical preferences in that, boom. Yeah, we got some people coming in. Crazy Rich Asians, we saw it at your sister's house. That's right, we did see Crazy Rich Asians. She says, I've seen Crazy Rich Asians so many times. They got some hot Asians in there. I mean, yeah, they're pretty attractive people going in Crazy Rich Asians. Grande is like Grande, like Starbucks Grande. Yep, exactly. Yeah, Nickelodeon, and yeah, and yes, she does have some pipes on her. And I gotta say, people forget that Ariana is quite skilled, and even her acting ability is top notch here. I know there was some kind of thing like, oh my God, she's just going to be more poppy with her vocals and everything like that, and she wouldn't be able to access her musical theater talents. Ooh, I gotta tell you right now, friends, absolutely not the case. She was able to shift that specific dimensionality of her voice to match a more musical-esque tone. But I will say, when the pop inflections, or maybe those little pepperings of pop singing, went into her performance, it actually really worked for Glinda, because she's popular, and it really just added to that particular sort of waft of her character, which worked beautifully well. If that was intentional, spot on. Even if it was an accident, spot on, because the happiest of accidents, and it worked perfectly for everything that she's doing for the character of Glinda. And Ariana captures a pretty beautiful sort of vacant naivete toward all things, because she's just so self-centered. So if something doesn't come to her, or have it, like, she just plays it beautifully, of like, not malicious or even like completely snooty. She just legitimately doesn't know better, which is great. And I really gotta say, as sharply as she played it, most of the comedy is filtered through Glinda. She is responsible for a lot of comedic beats, and she nails them. She nails them pretty rock solid. Yep. She smashes like the witch. She smashes it a lot. I was pleasantly surprised and just happy that she took it there. As we go to Miss Cynthia Erivo, I gotta say, lovely casting choice for Elphaba. Miss Cynthia Erivo brings a sort of quiet and profound dignity to Elphaba. She always kind of maintains her assertiveness, because, being bullied and just outcasted so much of that in your life, you develop a skin, you develop some wit, you develop a thing, but she never oversteps it, which is kind of cool because it actually, she always knows she's at a disadvantage with a bunch of people, and she's usually the one that gets in trouble. So she asserts herself, but she knows when to sort of just pick her battles. And I gotta say that little character nuance is completely smart, and she would know. Like Cynthia Erivo and Elphaba would know. So it was a beautiful way, little nuance of her character. And you really can't, I can't understate her solid command of the character. Very solid in herself, and very strong. Obviously she's a strong and very self-aware character, as she, you know, she learns a little bit more about herself, but she's very, you know, solid with herself because she has to protect herself and she has to protect her sister. But man, there's some there is some intense vulnerability going on in this movie. They say bring tissues to this movie. I say, yep. This movie legit pulls on some heartstrings I did not see coming, okay? And I don't cry, okay, my friends. I haven't cried since I pooped my pants yesterday watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for like the 944th time, because I cry all the time when I see that. But no, legit, there is a scene in particular where in the movie, and again, no spoilers, but there is a scene in the movie where it is this very clear and heartbreaking expulsion of emotions that really key you into the gravity of the years of someone who has that much loneliness and otherness and ostracization, and just like that, the years of always being cast aside because you're different. And that feeling, along with what happens when somebody finally gives you like some heart and give you some warmth and compassion, it's mwah, chef's kiss all day, every day. Yes chef. Beautiful performances going on there. And it ruined my makeup, god damn it. Stupid scene. Stupid scene. Anyway, if we're talking themes and stories, as I stated earlier, it does follow a little bit closer to the books than it does the musical, from what I hear. So it goes a little bit deeper into character nuances and interpersonal relationships and things like that. You definitely sympathize, and you get really attached to Elphaba and her plight, and you get attached to Glinda. You understand where all the characters are coming from, because everybody gets a little chance to just live. The world is definitely lived in, and it's very easy to grasp and know where kind of, okay, I know what I'm dealing with. I know who I'm dealing with when I'm going into certain aspects. You also get a nice little dip, not a full hip dip, but you get a nice little dip into the sort of political political strata in Oz. You get dipped into the political pool and the backwards ass turmoil going on with the land of Oz, and the unjust treatment of like the animals and all that crap among, you know, the people of Oz, and there's a lot of societal turmoil that they're dealing with in here. The Wicked Witch, Elphaba, resonating hard with, you know, I guess you can even say is resonating hard with current times of a wrongly vilified person, and then you're propagandized as evil because you're fighting against like the a secret oppression going on and stuff like that. Everybody's all these schemings going on, some like Game of Thrones goofy ass crap going on in Oz. You'd never would have thunk, but yep, it goes a little deep, but not enough. And I actually speculate that that the second part 2, coming out in 2025, is going to actually dig a little more deeper into the, obviously the climax of the movie, but dig a little more into what really is the sort of political landscape and the consequences of everything going on in the land of Oz. But this movie was, what it actually felt like was an introduction to the world, the characters, and just giving you a taste of essentially what's to come. Ending just like in the movie musical, like that first act, second act, ending in the same way, where we're okay, we're going into a sort of battle now, right? So yes, definitely an introduction, and definitely a very, very well handled sort of uncurtaining, as if you will. Just like, pay no attention to that, man, but like paying attention to this particular world and getting you invested, and then paying it off in a year's time to see what happens at the end of the show. Now, we move on. Stephanie T says she was on a show about a musical high school where everyone is either a singer or a musician. There you go. Cool. Ariana, see, she's got it. Her Celine Dion impression is spot on. She should. That would have been fun if somehow, for some reason, she channeled a little bit of Celine Dion in her performance. Mama Anna asks, does it tell us in the movie why she became wicked? Oh, Mama Anna, you have to watch the movie, because then you realize, what is wicked? Is she wicked? You have to watch to find out. Now, we got to move on to the thing that everybody, for whatever reason, tends to gravitate towards. Cracks in the booty. Okay? What are the cracks in the booty? What are those? What's the osteoporosis in the bones of a movie? Eh? The cracks. I got to say, my friends, happy to report there's not many. At the very least, nothing that's terribly notable that I would have to dive into that's going to really sour the experience. What I could probably say is, like, sometimes for the sake of the movie, as much as they morphed it really well, translating it from musical to movie and then trying to make the movie its own thing in the proper way to respect the medium of cinema. There were some times where the momentum of a scene didn't quite flow as smoothly into the introduction of a song, which, it'd be like something real intense, and then like a musical happens, and it's just like, oh, that's a little weird. It's a little jarring, and it sometimes took away the weight of the scene of what was happening. But not really anything significant to where, like, you're like, okay, I hate this movie, and then you just look at the child next to you, you just want to fucking slap the nearest kid near you. No. It wasn't anything that kind of crazy, but that was something that I noticed, that, it's different from playing out a scene versus going into a song. It's very different. I did hear, I had read some critiques saying that the movie, could barely touch on pretty substantial and deep and dark, sort of broader societal themes and the things going on in the backdrop that Oz is using as a backdrop. And it doesn't touch on those very much. I can understand that, because, like I said, there is always kind of this weird sense of foreboding and this just kind of uneasiness to Oz and everything, and you just always had a sense that something nefarious was going on. But I give it some slack, because it really was for, the characters and understanding the stances in the world and stuff like that, and to give them some slack and some grace. I'm going to predict that it's coming in part 2, to really get into like the greater goings ons of Oz, hopefully sticking to, obviously the focal point being the characters, but how you can have the characters explore those themes with their situations and everything like that. But overall, yeah, it's minor, and most of my things where I was like, oh, that's odd, were fairly minor. Overall, my friends, I gotta say, this movie was a legit treat. And people, some people were talking about it that I heard coming out of the theater, like, would it turn non-musical lovers or people who don't really enjoy musicals at all into die-hard musical fans or anything like that? No. No, it won't. And I'm not even saying that as like a detriment to the movie, because that's really not the point or the intention of the movie at all, really. It's like, it's a story that's easy to grasp. It is accessible to people whether they like musicals or not, and I think that's where it actually shines. A group of protagonists that you can get behind, and what adding musical numbers into a story can actually lend to, with adding a sense of fun, adding a sense of dread, adding a sense of introspection, all those kinds of things in a way that works really well. This musical does a good job of doing the integration of the musicals very well. And I know for me personally, the reason this would probably work better than, say, some other movie musicals is because Oz is a fantastical place. And I feel as though most musicals, in my current, best of my current knowledge and understanding, is most musicals are inherently fantastical because you break into song and there's a different kind of thing going on. So something like this set in the land of Oz lends itself to the fantastical of the musical, and the merging of a fantastical realm of just being in a movie sense molds pretty well. If y'all know of any musicals that are actually really grounded in reality and the musical aspect really works in a cinematic sense, send them, put them in the comments, put them in the chat, because I would love to see those where it really does well. Because like I said, musicals are not my they're not my forte very much, but hey, I'm always down to learn. I'm down to really get to know some of these things. I absolutely recommend this movie. I will repeat myself. It works. I absolutely recommend this movie. It is a very, very well executed story of otherness, oppression, friendship, social and societal hierarchies, and good old-fashioned vocal resonance. It is fantastic. I give Wicked 2024 Part 1 8.7 ruby slippers out of 10. So that's 4 slippers. That's 2 slippers each for 4 people with 2 legs and someone who's okay with walking with 3/4 of a foot of a shoe. Yeah, right. Right. 8.7 ruby, that's slippers. That's slippers for 4 people. 2 legs, someone who's okay with walking with 3/4 of it. Yeah. That's my assessment, friends. That's my assessment. I enjoyed this movie. I highly recommend. Go and check it out and go have yourself a good time at the theater. And that was going on, my friends. That is my assessment of Wicked. And I'm going to open it up to the chat for a little bit of the Ask Me Anything segment of the show. But I give Wicked an 8.7 ruby slippers out of 10. 8.7 out of 10. Funky-tastic. Yeah, when Ariana Grande started singing like Celine Dion in the middle of the clothing, I can't do a Celine Dion impression. Damn it, I wish I could. I wish I could sing like Celine Dion. Mama's got skills. She got skittle skills when it comes to her vocals. I'm opening it up to the chat. I'm drunk and happy. I don't care that. Let's have a fun discussion about things. I'm gonna switch this. I just realized I had fire on the entire, just burning the witch. Burn her. How sad. Oh, I should have left it there.
Puppies. Puppies. Oh, they'll sleep.
Wicked. She's wicked. Oh my god. Wicked. Damn. None of your business. Steffi T says, I love Across the Universe and Rent. Across the Universe, yeah, I remember we saw Across the Universe, but I would even say that Across the Universe definitely has like a... That is very much same thing. There's a fantastical, very abstract craziness to that musical. Like, I'm wondering if there's a musical that's... Like if if a Zone of Interest was made into a musical and they decided to keep it really grounded and just add some songs in there, would that work? I'm curious. Like, is there any musical like that where it's that sort of really grounded in reality and integrates the musical aspect of that stuff, but actually works? Or like, would the music take it out of take everything out of context? Rent, I think maybe Rent the movie is a little closer to something a little more grounded, I think. Yeah, if I remember. I've seen the live show of Rent twice. I don't remember the movie as well. Was there like a fantastical element? I guess, like, in a way, yes or no? It's probably different because it's like, I'm not sure. That's maybe Rent. Maybe Rent would be a good sort of And Exhausted, I saw Zoot Suit to play. I would have loved to have seen Zoot Suit back in the day. Mama Anna, did you see Zoot Suit with Edward James Olmos when it came out? Was it the original cast with like so I know Luis Valdez, but like was it the original cast with Edward James Olmos and everything? Jerry Steffi Camacho says, I miss being able to wear feet pajamas. Don't we all? Growing up sucks. They should really make really big people feet pajamas. That'd be fun. I would be interested. I'd be curious if they remade Zoot Suit, because that one too, I don't know if I never saw the show live. I would love to see the show live, but I do love the movie musical. This is a very underrated movie musical in my opinion, actually. But that one too does sort of Zoot Suit does indeed get like you pop into like some very existential, abstract breaking of reality type things, especially with El Pachuco. You know, he's pretty much a abstract character the entire way. In the Heights, yeah, In the Heights, I could get behind In the Heights being a little bit more like on the grounded side. Yeah, La La Land, yeah. They might have La La Land probably dug a little more into some of the more fantastical elements, abstract sort of breaking of reality. Not too much though. Okay, yeah. I really am. Yeah, I'm curious if like if one is just completely grounded, but maybe yeah, out of all of those, maybe In the Heights so far, like a can, because La La Land, yeah, it's there, but I know they there's a bit of stylization, there going on. My favorite musicals are the Disney sing-along songs. I miss those. I mean, I honestly, hell, Disney were like those movies and the musicals were just uh like those were musicals. That was the musical. I think that it took over. It went from live action, you know, Singing in the Rain, you know, Annie Get Your Gun type movies back in the day, and then like the animated musical just took all family, you know, the family friendly genre by storm. Like a movie musical, an animated family musical was to see something to see. I do miss those. I mean, do they? I'm sure they have to still make them, right? They have to still probably make the sing-alongs. Just they're probably, you know, it's not a CD anymore or even a cassette tape. Kids, anybody out there in internet land, does anybody, any of my youngsters out there, do you remember cassette tapes? Probably not, because you weren't born when those things were going out there. 8-track? Do you remember 8-tracks? Vinyl? Well, maybe people would know vinyl because that was like the people probably understand the vinyl thing because like that's like that retro wave that took everybody, like it wasn't necessarily the hippie movement, I guess, but like, you know, to have something like that was like, oh man, you can't beat the sound of a vinyl record. And it's like people really just, it kind of had like a rebirth, I suppose. Stuffy T says definitely last 5 years is grounded in reality. I have not seen the movie of last 5 years. I've seen scenes from the actual musical, but not the movie. Okay, all right, check it in for those the last 5 years. That'd be cool to check out the last 5 years. Mama Anna says yes, it was the original cat. Oh, sweet, so awesome. I bet it was. People still collect those records because it's cool. I bet. And I would love to get a record player because I've said it in past streams, my friends. Like most of my popular culture knowledge mainly lies in movies and TV. Music is a big popular cultural weakness of mine, along with like movie. Not movie, along with musicals and stuff could be a tough one. I'm trying to work my way through books and stuff like that. Trying to, what else is like popular culture? Maybe like pieces of art. I don't know too much about those. There's a lot, man. The world is so big. The world is so large. How can one possibly keep up with everything going into the world? I do not know these. How could this happen? I do not know these. There's so much. But I would like to get like a record player. Just get some of my favorite things on vinyl, see how they sound. Some of my favorite stuff, favorite bands and stuff, get them on vinyl. What's going on over on Twitter? That's a nice oh, that's a good poster there. That's a good poster. Little you know, little poster, little promotional poster there just for the Wicked there with hey, that's the director right there. It says pink goes good with green. Yeah, it does. You know, that's a good poster there. You know, like a nice little nod to that thing that you see in the, I think it's what, the Vatican, where I think Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo or Leonardo or Raphael, one of the turtles kind of painted the roof, and there you see the guy trying to hold the thing of God, and you know, but not quite getting there. Or maybe because she's flying away, you know, Ariana, you know, she's trying to get her, but she doesn't know how to fly quite yet, you know. She doesn't know how to, she hasn't gotten the skill to get her bubble right there, and she's gonna go up there and fly with the alphabet there, you know. No, but you know, it's you know, they're going there. Everyone deserves a chance to fly, you know. She hasn't gotten her pilot's license yet. She's waiting for it to come in the mail, but she's already got her pilot's license because she got it to Amazon delivered, you know, a little one-day delivery. She was a little bit more patient She decided to just do the normal drop shipping and everything like that. It was good. It was good. Wicked. It was good. But they're both good pilots. I appreciate everything they do when they fly. To go from say San Francisco to John F. Kennedy Airport over in New York is really good. They're good. They're good people. They're good. She flies well. You're gonna have a wicked good time there. Come and go in there. Thank you. What are you doing, Ariana? Or what are you doing, Ariana Grande? Do. Great chemistry. Mama Anna says, would you like to be in a musical? Oh, man. Again? Yes. To be honest, yes. I would be in a musical again. But my condition / caveat would be, I think I would have way more fun being in a musical comedy. Something like, say, Spamalot. Love Spamalot. Or like The Producers. Or a movie that lends us. If a movie has it's a comedy and just has like musical numbers, that's probably the only way I would do musicals now. Would I do a heavier musical? No, I think I'm done doing too much of the heavy stuff. Maybe I'll get bit by the drama bug again one day, because hey, we love to challenge ourselves once in a while. But I think as far as from musical essence, where I'd probably just want to do something more comedic and light and fun, and to where it was just everybody's having a laugh in the show. Jason Camacho asks, can we talk about the upcoming live action version of How to Train Your Dragon? Thoughts? Absolutely. Throw your thoughts in the chat. We were talking about this earlier today, actually. So, full transparency. How to Train Your Dragon, the series. Stephanie T, you were in Spamalot, Miss T. Yes, you were. I saw you in Spamalot. It was so much fun. For those who don't know, Spamalot is the live musical version of Monty Python's The Holy Grail. It's a fun musical. I love that musical so much. How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies in all of animation. I love that trilogy so much. I cast no shade on the live action version of this movie. I really don't. I really hope and pray from my spirit and my soul that it is really just good. I know I got really into only hand you with good. I hope it's good. I don't want it to fail. But I also don't know why they need that. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know why they needed a live action version of How to Train Your Dragon. I looked it up. The last How to Train Your Dragon movie, How to Train Your Dragon in the Hidden Realm, or the Hidden Google Schmoogle. The Hidden World. Yeah. Okay, that's all I had to say. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World was made in 2019. It hasn't even been, I mean, it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years. It's not a long time. In a way, I kind of feel like how I felt when I heard that they were making a fourth Toy Story. And I know that's not live action. I know, I think I was told, I don't know if this is true or not, but they asked like, Tom Hanks, would you do a live action Toy Story? And apparently he was like, don't do that, please. No, don't do that. I felt the same way as I did with Toy Story, because the Toy Story trilogy, while it has some problems, sure, with like the you can say about like whatever the system going in with it, whatever, but it is a brilliant trilogy, and it ended so just magic. It ended magic. That type of soul gem encrusted spirit magic that was just like, mwah, of course. Andy goes off because he's grown up and he passes on the toys, and they're made to make the next kid happy, and it's just fantastic. The perfect ending. And I heard that they were going to do the fourth one. I was like, what could it even be about? Why? And I saw the fourth one because I had to know. It wasn't bad. I actually I quite enjoyed it. It was just one of those things like, was it necessary? No. And I think that's how I feel about How to Train Your Dragon. Like, it's so good, and the medium, it's crazy. The medium of, it's the same medium, but you're using a different palette. You know, you're using different tools in the same medium. Live action things in cinema versus animation in cinema. You can do totally different things in there. It was just done brilliantly, and I love the characters, I love the world, I love the dragons and everything. So I'm hoping, I have nothing against the live action. I just don't understand the necessity for it, because it's one of those things like, hey, if you want to watch How to Train Your Dragon, just watch How to Train Your Dragon. It's there. Y'all did it. You scored. You scored big time. I don't know. That's what I said. So absolutely no shade or hate. I just don't know why. Aside from the obvious, you know, if I'm putting my cynical self, my nihilist cynical self, if I'm taking that out of the equation right now, yeah, I would like to just like know it's like, yeah, it's money and everything, and they know people will come and see it. I'll probably check it out just to see, hoping maybe they do something different because of the fact that it's live action, you know. My fear being that if it is kind of shot for shot, or they didn't really stray too differently or do anything different of what you can do when you're playing with animation versus doing it with live action, then it's like, yeah, it wasn't, you know, you didn't have any real heart in it. You were just doing it because it, you know, it's a property that's gonna bring in some cash, and it's like, it's okay. When I saw the trailer, I was excited because they got Toothless so good. I mean, yeah, he looks great. He actually, you know, Toothless looks more photorealistic, you know, and that's awesome, you know. And I agree. I don't know why they felt the need to do this, but I really hope it does well. Yeah. If I'm going to be as benevolent and peaceful as I have tried to be in my years, trying to learn from the awesomes, the greats like Uncle Iroh, Master Yoda, from Empire Strikes Back. Not really anything else, but yeah, mostly Uncle Iroh, the Doctor, all those awesome wise characters. I do hope it does well. I really do hope that the movie does well, but I also hope that eventually big studios, and whether that's Hollywood or any other things, but I really hope the big studios know that it is really more than okay to start doing original things again. You don't have to do the live action remakes of this or do a retelling of that. Like, I really hope they learn to make way for a new wave of the original stuff. The big blockbuster original stuff. I'm not sure how much of that is coming out, especially in theaters. I think a lot of stuff is coming out streaming. On the streaming, they take maybe a little more chances. I'm not too sure about the quality from what I understand, but yeah, I really hope they do. I really hope they learn that it is okay to dip back into the risk of a property that nobody knows about quite yet. And I know that's probably really scary to them because they have to contend with not only, streaming is a thing, but they have to contend with YouTube, TikTok, any short form or now vertical form a type of media. So that's a tough one. Dang, Stephanie Cherry throwing shade, not like the Beyonce crappy Lion King live action. Dang, shots fired. You better hope that Beyonce doesn't watch this stream, sister, because you're gonna have some problems. She's gonna put you in her next music video. I don't know. It's not gonna be called Lemonade. It's gonna be called Pomegranate Age. Like, how dare you talk about my live action Lion King? But I will say that was what a marvel for animation. Like, as far as for, again, photorealistic animals and everything like that. But it was the Lion King. It was the Lion King, just with photorealistic looking animated animals, as opposed to hand drawn. I am excited to see Mufasa though, and it's cool because it's an original story, not a live action remake. Oh, okay. Hey, if it's live action, if they're doing a little bit of like little backstory on Mufasa and his brother Scar, I'm okay with that. That's cool. Because I did like it's an unsung thing, but like I did like Lion King 2, and I really enjoyed Lion King 1.5 or like 1 3/4, 1 2/8, where it was just Simba with Timon and Pumbaa, like him growing up and all the kind of kooky shenanigans that they went through in that little time between him growing up. I didn't know. Oh yeah, but I'm glad to know that the Mufasa movie is gonna be an original. Maybe a nice little expansion, nice little dissection, maybe a little thing. Lion King 2 is fire, is what she says. Hell yeah. Lion King 2. That is definitely what I have to like. That's how I would love to approach that type of things. Like, that's why, I always encourage people. I definitely encourage people to go see, like, go check out go check out those little movies that you never hear about. It doesn't have to be blockbusters all the time or the main big things coming in from the big studios all the time. Go check out little movies. Go check out little projects going on from people. It's just a different type of thing to let the independent and smaller studios and circuits know that they deserve a shot too. They just, unfortunately, they don't get the marketing, and they don't get the spread that big studios tend to get. It's a little easier now because of social media, but like Yeah, go check out those little things. Go check out those fun little stories that you probably never would have even heard about because you just happened to just search a little bit. And sometimes you find gems. Sometimes you find like so bad they're good movies. Sometimes you find like mediocre, just whatever. And sometimes you find just goofy poopy craps. But those are fun. Those are still fun. I love those. What would let's put that out there. Let's put that out there into the universe, friends. What kind of stories would you like to actually see? You know? And I guess in a way, in a weird way, like it's not completely original because and most movies and things are based off of books and stories and everything like that. But I guess in a way Marvel is making what you could consider original content. Obviously based off comics, and they're trying to do their best. And I know that quality is hit or miss a lot of times. But they definitely have their reach. I know a lot of people are saying that they're really big now, and it was bound to slow down. I don't know if Marvel will topple as soon as they'll be around for a much longer time. I think the genre, the superhero genre, would have to really die out for them to be like, okay, we're done. It would have to be real sparse. Something would have to probably uh something just like the culture would really have to shift. Like Monster Squad. Yeah, exactly. Monster Squad, from what I hear tell, was not very popular when it came out. I think it was actually pandered, like not pandered, like really just kind of like tossed away. Like, what the hell is this? But honestly, like talked about it. I think I talked about it in my first stream. Monster Squad is fucking awesome. I love the Monster Squad. Are some things problematic nowadays? Yeah, but that movie was made like 30 years ago. So, what the hell do you want? Steph T says, I'd love to see a film adaptation of the book Scythe. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like the people are immortal, and like the people who basically enact as deaths are people who basically, like by the government, are trained to be death. Yeah. Here, let's look that up. Let's look it up and maybe we can give a boost to Hollywood. Scythe. Dooby-doo-doo. Scythe is a 2016 young adult novel by Neil Schusterman and is the first of the arc of the Scythe series. It is set in the far future where death, disease, and unhappiness have been virtually eliminated thanks to advances in technology, and a benevolent artificial intelligence known as the Thunderhead peacefully governs a united Earth. The notable exception to the Thunderhead's rule is the Scythedom, a group of humans whose sole purpose is to replicate mortal death in order to keep the population growth in check. Oh, it does say indeed that a feature film adaptation is in the works, with Sarah Gamble writing the script. However, the new draft is being written by Gary Doberman. Yeah. Based off the synopsis and my partner telling me about the story, like I would love to see that. I would love to see an adaptation of something like that. But even then, check it out, friends. Check it out, my lovelies. That's still based off of a book. I know it's pretty difficult to have a completely original, like this was written for the screen. Not based off of anything, just a screenwriter being like, hey, here's a story. What do you think? Justin Camacho, I am forever going to push for an Incarnations of Immortality series. Absolutely, I would love to see that too. Yeah, based off the book. It would be, you know, since we are in the realm of since we are in the world of streaming, and now that TV really blew up, especially, you know, after the golden era of TV, you know, coming from you know, The Sopranos, The Wire, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, like, and now everybody's like, the people really understood the beauty you can do with long form storytelling for a TV series. The Incarnations of Immortality series would be really good. I did think about that one time, and I was like, what? So my producer brain came on, right? I was like, hey, how could this work? See, this is me smoking my cigar that cost me $25 million that I made back as soon as I smoked it because I'm a producer, see? Well, my producer brain said, hey, what would be the problem in doing the Incarnations of Immortality series? And one of the main things I came by was, well, if you do, say, book one, On a Pale Horse, where man becomes death and he meets all the other incarnations, namely like nature, war, time, fate, all three of them, God, Satan, and there's death. You get to know all of them during that season one, essentially. And then in season two, you then move on to a different, say, nature. But you already got to know nature. So maybe like if you really like nature, but then you have to replace them with a new nature, you know, it's a whole thing. So yeah, I think that would probably be that's like a thing. I think it would be like tough to navigate narratively. Like, how do you make sure that your new person coming in to fill in these mantles of the aspects of life do well? You know, that'd be really cool though. In that vein, I recommend this to you, sister. The Sandman series is actually really interesting about that. I just finished the Sandman series. There is a recommendation, and oh boy, I know my boy Neil Gaiman got into some freaking goofy ass shit. Come on, man. Come on, people. Stop with the things. But I will say, I've been working on the Sandman series, reading it. I got it way before this, and but the Sandman series on Netflix is actually quite lovely. There's like I said, I could probably do, if y'all want a sort of my thoughts on the Sandman show. I could do my best to come and do a review on it. I'm a little hesitant to do TV reviews because TV takes a little longer. Movies, you know, are pretty, you know, a long movie is 3 hours, and then you can kind of like, you're done. But if you would like to hear a review about the Sandman series, I would love to do that because it's good. Yeah. But I would be interested to see clever showrunners and writers tackle the Incarnations of Immortality. Did you know they are going to make a remake of He-Man? Look it up. My darling Chris Hemsworth may be starring in it. Yay! Is he gonna? So Mama Anna is your darling. He's like, hey Anna. He's like, did he call you? He's like, hey Anna, I'm doing He-Man. Go ahead and just have dinner ready for me. Chris Hemsworth. No, I know he's happily married with his lovely family, but he just doesn't know it yet, Mama. He doesn't know that you're the love of his life quite yet. Okay, Mama. He's okay. He'll learn. But I did not know that they were. I knew there were talks about a He-Man series or a movie. I know there's the animated one, but I didn't know that Mr. Hemsworth was going to be starring in a He-Man series. Let's see. He-Man. He-Man. Is this real? Probably one of
Eternia
those.
was once a land of light until shadows returned.
The power to reshape
Oh.
worlds, now within my grasp.
This is
Power of
AI
Eternia
generated.
lies in one-
Your power, He-Man.
Yeah, you can tell it's AI, but interesting. It says right here that Dolph Lundgren wanted Chris Hemsworth to play He-Man, but Hemsworth turned down the role due to its similarities to his role of Thor. Interesting. That would have been, I think he would have, you know, if there would have been something for him to be meat, to like more meat, a different type of meat to play with He-Man and sort of a Masters of the Universe type thing, I think he would have made a great He-Man. That would have been cool. He's like, oh, I have the power. He doesn't even scream it like, I have the, but he just, I have the power. And instead of his sword, he pulls out Mjolnir, and then everybody gets confused. Skyrim the movie, that would be interesting. And I think, oh man. Now, question to Miss T, my lovely Miss Allison T. Do you think they could do just a movie of Skyrim? Like that, I think that would be really tough. Because the Elder Scrolls lore is so vast. Like, could you do something pretty substantial in the world of Skyrim with just a movie, even like a 2.5 hour movie? Would that be enough? I posed that question to people out there. I would love to see a Voltron movie. That was one of my favorite cartoons. Why do I feel like Voltron would be really interesting. I know you watched Voltron more than I did, sis. Why do I feel like they actually did a Voltron, either the cartoon or like they made one in Japan, I want to say. Let's double check. Here, let's share the different screen. Alley hoop. Oh, apparently, at one point I mean, if this is true, it's hard to sift through some of the things whether you know it's true or not. But like, apparently, if this is true, they got Mr. Henry Cavill as Keith to star in a Voltron movie. There are some actors, like, you know, they're really kind of primed for kind of the stuff like that, the 80s type of action type stuff. And Henry Cavill, my man, definitely lends to that. My man definitely. He's Henry Cavill's a solid actor. Okay, so apparently they're making a Voltron movie. That's cool. Yeah, and I knew it was an adaptation of a Japanese anime television. So yeah, there you go, sis. Maybe you might get your wish. You might get your wish that a Voltron movie is in the works. If they do He-Man remake, I hope to add more of the original characters now that the technology can support it. So many characters were left out of the Dolph Lundgren version. Oh yeah. Yeah, especially like the animals and like their werebeasts and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. Miss Allison Stuff T says, nah, they would have to be a full-on series. Yeah, it'd be tough to do all of Skyrim in just a movie. I think the hard part about that would be like it would definitely just be for the fans, you know? It would definitely be for the fans. What would I like to see? I mean, aside from just obviously just completely original other than like completely original stories. I guess we know now that the medium of video games can, if you adapt them right, that would be really cool to see certain video games get adapted into live action, kind of nice in one-off stories or series or something like that. I know they I don't know if anybody here listening would know this. I don't think anybody minus maybe Allison would know this particular IP, but I would be really interested to see a kick-ass team do a BioShock trilogy. I think BioShock is a really, really fascinating world. But yeah, you would have to really kind of weather the action and the horror aspects of the movie and the world into like you'd have to really kind of dig deep and know how to navigate building the world, building the horror, doing what you got to do. Yeah, but it'd be a lot of fun. I would probably dip my hat into like how we could make that work, because that'd be a lot of fun. BioShock would be cool. I know that there's talks of like having the God of War series become a movie. Now, which God of War series would they do? I have no idea, because there's like 8 games of God of War. They didn't have my favorite character, Battle Cat and Orko. Yeah, I know, and because it was like a goofy budget, slammed on by the critics. The most recent Mortal Kombat, yeah, we were talking about that. I would love to have that as like a nice old, not old because it didn't even come out that long ago, but like just a really cool shout out to the Mortal Kombat series that came out, the Mortal Kombat movie that came out on HBO. That is a underrated film. You know, we grew up loving the original Mortal Kombat in the 90s. But no, this one was actually like a very different kind of movie, and they justified a lot of things in the, yeah, that's a good call, sis. That was actually really good. And you know, my man playing Scorpion, Mr. Sanada, Hiroyuki Sanada, is like, that man's a beast. I love that guy. Spider-Man 2 video game turned into a movie would be dope. Spider-Man 2 video game. Oh, I mean, you're so Miss Steph T, she's talking about the video game that came out on the PS5 with Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and the story going in with Venom and the retelling of stuff like that. That would be, and hey, no, who knows? Maybe they're making that. I said it in my Deadpool and Wolverine one. Like, if you're gonna do one more thing of Deadpool Wolverine, throw in Tom Holland's Spider-Man some way, somehow, even if it's a one-off, doesn't fit with like the timeline or anything. Who cares? Let it just be a nice, fun movie, and then somehow it gets erased because multiverses, whatever. If it's a good movie, it's fine. But who knows? Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll throw in we'll finally get a live action Miles Morales. And that's absolutely no shade on the Spider-Verse movies, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Those movies are magic. Those movies are soul gem encrusted diamonds. But that would be dope to see that, like a cool one-off with Spider-Man and Miles and their relationship and stuff. That'd be cool. I would like to see a movie about Native American mythology. Yeah. I would love some. Steffi Kamar says, I liked Midget Wolverine. Yep, that is comic book accurate height Wolverine. Wolverine is only supposed to be like 5'3". I want to say at most he's like 5'5". It's insane. Like, yeah, it's funny. But I would like to see a movie about Native American mythology. Yeah, I would love to. Like my man who helmed Reservation Dogs. That's like Tarantino. Reservation Dogs, the Res Dogs. Anybody on like that team or any other like indigenous voice doing like a really cool a really cool kind of fantastical thing of some indigenous American stories. That'd be awesome. I agree. I agree on that one. I would say the closest we might have, Big Sis, are check out the show Echo. Check out the show Echo. I actually think like that is an underrated show, and don't get me wrong, it actually does have some pretty glaring problems of like the stuff that you're like, but like the stuff it does right, it actually does it does with some heavy amounts of fascination and like, oh my goodness. Echo was good. I recommend I recommend Echo, especially as far as for tying in some things about like indigenous mythos and lore, kind of stuff like that, and just yeah. Oh, you saw it? Okay, you saw the Marvel show. I loved it. Sweet. Okay, sweet. Yeah, yeah. There's also that little segment in the season 2 of the What If series. Like I'm talking about like the large. Trust me, I know that there's movies coming out. I think there's some streaming on Hulu and everything's about like stories of the living in a res and stuff like that with like basketball and other things. I'm more putting to the forefront the indigenous, some of the indigenous inspired things that you'd see like from major studios, whether it's I will actually get back and try and see if I can find ones that are a little more independent, coming straight from indigenous filmmakers and underrepresented filmmakers to just come and like really promote their stuff as well. But for those of you out there who are like getting into certain things like that, yeah, Echo's a good one, and there is a segment definitely heavily indigenous inspired in What If season 2, the Marvel series What If season 2, about like oh my goodness, it's been a minute, but like this world that is like it's kind of parallel to ours, and these the indigenous people there like kind of came upon powers similar to like if I'm not mistaken, it's like similar to the herb that landed in Wakanda, the vibranium that landed in Wakanda. So like something like that, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am. I'm probably gonna call it in a few minutes, my friends. If there's my lovely viewers that come in, if there's any other things you would love to ask your friendly neighborhood Aoka or discuss with your friendly neighborhood Aoka, I'm all ears. Yeah, we'll do a couple extra comments and questions, and then we'll call it a night. I'm just over here drinking my Idaho and Montanan whiskey. It's whiskey from Montana. Montana? That's right. That's right. You heard me. You heard what I said. You heard what I said, son of a bitch. You think you know me? You don't know what the fuck I'm about. I drink all the whiskey I want. Because if you don't drink whiskey, then that means I don't poop right. Whiskey helps me poop. My sister, Jerry Stephanie Camacho, asks, what do I think my spirit animal is? The answer I would love to be true is like a really awesome, like a dragon or something cool like that. Like the dragon, the mythos of the dragon, like one of our most powerful mythological creatures, next to the unicorn and like the kraken. I wonder what a fight between a dragon and a kraken would be like. Because I don't think krakens can be on land, at least for that long. But like if a dragon is like flying above the ocean and a kraken like whips up and grabs it, like would dragonfire stop a kraken? I don't know. That's a good thing. Or maybe they're not enemies. Maybe they wouldn't even fight. They'd just be like, "What's up? Game recognized game." Dragon's like, "Yeah, that's right. Game recognized game." But also from what I understand, I don't know if it's like disrespect or anything like that, but like you can't determine, like you yourself are not supposed to determine what your spirit animal is. I forgot where I might have heard that, read it or had heard a conversation with somebody. But like you have to go to an elder, participate in a certain type of quest or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But you have to like, it's you can't necessarily choose that. It is designated to you per your quests and per your, like the type of journey you go on that you get from an elder, somebody who's much more learned about things like that. So to kind of keep with some of our blood, I don't think I'm I don't think I'm at liberty nor of any type of wisdom to say. That would be funny. Like it's like, it turns out your spirit animal is a really, it turns out Dimitri, our friendly neighborhood Aoka, it turns out your spirit animal is a really fat round panda. And honestly, your spirit animal hasn't moved in like 4 months. He just sits there and eats stuff. I'd be like, yep, that checks out. That's my spirit animal. My spirit animal is Uncle Iroh in the when he's being drama with Zuko about the herbs, and he's like he's eating all the teas and the berries and stuff. That'd be funny. What do I hope or wish it was? Yeah, like kind of what I said before. Like, it'd be cool if I could get like a crazy, a type of mythological creature. But like an owl would be cool, like one of like the horned owls. I guess in like in reference to like the mischievous nature, or like the if you're talking about like the contrarian nature or the mischievous sort of comical nature, it'd be like, something like a fox or a crow, something that's like an animal that's like learned with comedic sense. That'd be pretty cool, I suppose. But yeah. But with my luck, it would just be like a really fat, funny looking bear. And it's like, this bear is the most docile bear ever. He eats berries and bark, and he looks at somebody and he goes, hey, get out of my territory. Okay, you're gone. And he falls asleep. Which is weird, because I've only started feeling that way. Like, maybe we all do it. We all do it because we're getting older and we're just like, hey. Like that one guy when Kevin Hart's talking about his grandpa, he's like, just old people just get old. We get round, we get lazy, and we just start fussing. Like, hey, someone look at this. Hey, you look at this. Come and look at this. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of here. It's like, I live here, sir. Get out of here. What are you doing? I don't know you. I don't know you. Get off my lawn. A fox. A fox, yeah, like that's the thing. I swear now. Mama Anna says a cat. Yeah, absolutely. Mom is some kind of feline of some kind. My spirit animal is Baloo. That is a, yep. I just look for those bare necessities, man. Oh, yeah. Look for them bare necessities, those naked bare necessities. That's funny though. Like I love that. Yeah, Baloo. And whenever I'm feeling like really, really funny, I can be the Colonel when he tells everybody to dress up that line. And he spanks that one. I think he spanks his wife because she's like all tired and her butt's all sagging. He's like, dress up that line. And he goes, she's like, woo! And he goes like, he looks down the elephant's trunk and a dusty muzzle. I love Colonel Hottie, the big elephant. That's a perfect point, my friends. My spirit animal is Baloo the bear. And I would say that is a great button to end a beautiful stream on, my friends. That'd be dad would be Colonel Hottie. Yeah, that I can say that's dad. My friends, thank you so much for joining me on this lovely, lovely thing of a review that I'm gonna post. I'm gonna isolate it eventually and put it on. But thank you so much for joining me on the live stream because I love doing this with you guys and talking about these things because it's fun. It's fun, and we're trying to put different types of energy out there into the universe. You know? Yeah, this is the space. Safe space. God damn it. And once again, highly recommend 2024's Wicked Part 1. So go out and check it out if you can. If you enjoy what you watch on this channel, my friends, go ahead and go down below to the description. If you want to help support the channel in any way, shape, or form, by all means, help us out because I love it and we thank you so much and it helps me continue to do what I'm doing for everybody. Is there anything else? Yeah, go out there and defy some gravity and become popular and have some loathing and it turns out like the wicked need to be burned or some crap. No, it's bull crap. You know what they needed to know over in Oz? What they needed to know is I am Dimitri, your friendly neighborhood Aoka, saying to everybody, peace is the default. Damn near everything is nuanced. And please, just be fucking excellent to each other. All right, y'all. I would say that's a see you later. All right, let's go ahead and comment out here. Gonna go ahead and end the stream. But somebody needs to know here that, man, sometimes if you can't, you gotta poo.